Hi everyone. I'm not using my microphone right now, so I apologize for the audio. I just want to quickly go over how to do the video analysis for the constant velocity cars, the Dune buggies. I made my video already, and it's right here now in my desktop. You might have it in your downloads folder, whichever works. Okay, so now I'm going to load up the program. It should be on eCadence. You should see a link right here. So I'll load it up here. It's called JS Track. I'm going to open the app. And then now I'm going to cancel these. This is asking me, do I want to use previous projects? Don't worry about that. So I'm going to select from my local file. So if I click here, I'm going to find the video that I have. It's on my desktop. There we go. So I will open it up. There's my video. So I pull it up. It may take a little while to load up, so please be patient. All right, it's loaded up, so I'm going to give it a name of the project, Video Dune Buggy, whatever you want to call it. So it was filmed in 30 frames per second. That's essentially what you want. I'm going to change the frame rate to 2. I might need to change it even a little more. You want to get enough data points to get a really good sense of what the motion looks like, but you don't want to make it you don't want to be clicking forever, basically. So basically this means that the frames are going to move 2 frames every time I get a data point. I may want to reduce this, I may want to increase this, but this is where I am right now. So okay, everything else I leave at default, and I'm just going to hit create. Now, next thing I want to do is, here's an axis. You can see it's got like a vertical axis and a horizontal axis. I'm just going to take that. Typically where I like to put my axis is down to the lower left corner, because then that makes all the action that happens over here positive. You're free to put it wherever you want, but just know that you're going to get different data points based off that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do then is I'm going to play my video a little bit. So I got my, there we go. Let's stop it right there. That's where I'm going to start taking data right there. I got my meter stick right here in the background. Might be a little too far away, but I think it'll be okay for now for this activity. So I'll pause it right about here, and then I'm going to click this, the create scale icon. It's just a little line with 3 dots on it. If I click on it, I'm going to do one that's easy for me to see. So that'll be easier for me to see right there. And then I'm going to click create. And then you want to, basically what you're going to tell it is I'm making a scale. So I'm going to click at one end of the meter stick, click at the other end of the meter stick, and it makes a line across there, and it says, what is that? What's the distance there? And I'm going to say 1, because that's 1 meter. That's a meter stick. So I just told it that that's a meter, and now the program knows, oh, this is a meter right here. So now I'm going to, go from there. Okay. Next, I'm going to collect data. So I go here to the upper left one, that's create new track. So if I click create new track, I think I'll be able to see that okay. So I'm going to hit create new track. I'll just say track 1. I'll be boring with this one. So, and if I click create, it's saying, okay, now you can start collecting data. And how you collect data is you pick a point on the car. Could be the light up here. Could be this kind of black antenna right here. I'm going to make the center of this tire be the thing that I'm going to click on, that I'm going to click on over and over. It's got to be some point on the car though. All right, so and what you do to do that, to click, is you hold shift. If you notice when I hold shift, I get a little crosshair right here, and then you just click, and then the video advances. So, and then I can, I'm holding shift the whole time, I click again, and then it advances, I click again, it advances. Whoop, got a little glitch there, that's okay. So I'm just gonna keep centering this wheel and letting it advance. And I'm just going to do this throughout. I can even stop at one point. I can see all those data points right there, and then just keep going. If you see the cars moving at a bit of an angle, that's not ideal, but I'll live. And then you're going to do for all the motion whoop, that was a bad one. All right, so can I do Control Z? Oh yeah, so if you do Control Z, you can undo that data point and redo it. So that's nice, so Control Z works. You're going to do, though, for the whole thing, I'm just going to do this to kind of show you. So if you can see, I got a bunch of data here now. And so I'm going to highlight this data. So if I click here and I go down to this lower icon here, boom. And while there is Y data, so you can see there's time, T, that's in seconds, S. There's X, that's your position, where the car is with respect to your origin. This is the horizontal position. This is the vertical position. I don't care about the vertical position. I'm going to essentially say the car does not go up and down. It only goes right and left. So I'm just going to then highlight over here. And then something I've noticed too is that if I right click, I don't really have an option to make a copy, which is a bit of a pain. So I'm going to do that again, drag down, and then drag down, drag to the right. Oh, fine, I'll copy all this. Control C, Control C, Control C. That tends to be the best bet. Then I'm going to open up a Google Sheet, just a blank Google Sheet. And then I'm going to paste all my data. So here we go. Loads up here. I think I'm going to paste here because I'm only going to have data points, but I can remember what those data points came from. So I'm going to Control V. Boom, it gave me all my data points. And if you remember, this was time. Here was position. In the X direction, that's in meters. And then this I'm going to just delete. So I'll just delete this column here because that was the Y position. I don't care about that. And now I'm going to graph this position versus time. So if you know graphs, so right, oh, come on. So if you got a graph like this, your independent variable goes on the bottom and your dependent variable goes on the side. In general, that's what we do in science. So our independent variable here is going to be time. That's in seconds. And our dependent variable is going to be position. And that's in meters. So right there. And then we would also have a title, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go back into our video. So we got that. Okay. And how Google Sheets works is when you go to graph, your independent variables on the left side, your dependent variables on the right side. So I got this situated correctly. If it was wrong, I could just copy and paste over one of them. So I'm just going to highlight both of those like that. And then I'm going to graph. So the graph icon is up here. It's insert chart. Looks like a little bar graph. So if I click on that, my computer's running really slowly, I think, because I'm filming and all this other type of stuff. And I get position versus time. That's great. I want to be a little more, let me, so I see here, this is good. This is what you want, which is a scatter plot, If you don't have a scatter plot, you can go to setup over here, click over here, and find either the suggested scatter plot here, or you can go down and just click scatter right here. All right. So the other thing you want to make sure you have is that your variables are correct. So I do have position in meters here. I got time in seconds here, and I got a correct title. It's position versus time. That's what you want. So position versus time, that's the graph that I'm seeing here, but I also want to be a little more specific and say of a Dune buggy. Could even say a blue Dune buggy or something like that. So there we go, and there's my data points. Okay, great. And then now I'm going to go, I want to get a sense of what this graph is to get the slope of this graph, because the slope of a position versus time graph is going to actually give me my velocity. We'll learn more about that next week. So a change in position over a change in time is my velocity. So if I go to series, so I might customize here. I go to series, and then I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click trend line. That's going to be my best fit line. You've probably done those in science before. You kind of draw out a best fit line with a ruler. Well, I'm going to click trend line here. It looks like a linear relationship to me. This looks like a fairly straight line. And then, so for label, you're going to change the label. Instead of none, you're going to have use equation. So this is the best fit line. This is the trend line, this light blue line that you see here. And then this is the equation for that line. It's 0.443x plus, a little bit over here. So there's okay. And then I'm going to have show R squared value. And an R squared value is a number between 0 and 1 that tells you how good of a fit the data fits your trend line. So the closer it is to 1, the better the fit. The closer it is to 0, the worse the fit. So kind of what I do here is I say, so R squared value is a statistical number between 0 and 1. The closer it is to 0, the worse your line fits the data. You can see this line is terrible fit for the data. The closer it is to 1, the better the fit for the data. The almost perfect fit right there. So you can see R squared of 0.999. That's a really good fit. So there you go. And then from the slope of this graph, I can get my velocity. And so from here, I can make decisions about whether or not this is a constant velocity or not. Okay, so that's sorry. You thought you were done. So the other thing I want you to be able to do is kind of use Google Sheets to do if you can see there's a lot of data here. Let's say I wanted to do the calculation. T prime equals 1 over the square root of t. This is a silly calculation. It doesn't make any sense, by the way, so don't worry too much about that. It's just the fact that it's a fairly complicated calculation, 1 over the square root of t. And let's say I wanted to do that with every single data point here. Well, at the moment right now, I didn't even collect all my data. I have almost 30 data points. I don't want to do this calculation 30 times. That would be a big pain. So what I'm going to do instead is utilize Google Sheets to my advantage. So I'm going to have t prime here. So t prime, the units here would be, well, let's just forget units right now. So when I want to do this calculation, so I want to take time and I want to do 1 over the square root of time and then do that multiple times. So I'm going to say, what you do here is to do that, you're going to say equals, and then you're going to say 1 over, one way you could do the square root is to the half power, right? So you can do two things. You can either click on this cell and it tells me A2, or you could just write down A2. I like to open parentheses though as well, put everything in parentheses. And again, a square root is the same thing as a 1/2 power. So I can say to the power of, that's this little caret symbol right here, that's to the power of, and then I could say 0.5. Close parentheses, and there you go. So there you go, it just did the operation for me. Another thing you could do that would give you the same thing. So I got about 1.74. I could do the same thing, but instead there's actually a square root function you could use as well. So I could say SQRT, so equals 1 over SQRT. And it says, oh, you want to use square root function? Yes, I do. There you go. So it's saying the square root of what? So what do I want to do? Well, A2. That's the time that I want to do it for. I want to close my parentheses. And then again, I get 1.74. So either way works, whatever. But now I'm going to show you, I want to do that for all of these data points, 1 over the square root of these times. So instead of doing that over and over again, I can just click this, bring my mouse down to the lower right corner. You can see it turns into a plus sign, right? Once I hit that lower right corner, that little square box, it turns into a plus sign. If I click on that and drag it all the way down and let go, there you go. It just did that calculation for every single one of these times. If I click on this particular time, it's calculated 1 over the square root of this time. If I click on this one, it's calculated 1 over the square root of this time. So it just did all that operation for me. There you go. And so, yeah, what you should have for this Dune Buggy Google Sheet video analysis assignment is unique data, because you did the video analysis, a graph of position versus time that's labeled with an equation or an R square value, as well as a T prime calculation. So I should be able to click on that and go, oh yeah, there you go. They did that calculation like that you didn't just individually do each calculation. All right, hope that helped, and bye.